And now it's time for Rolling with the Spectrum. Like and subscribe to the channel. The sky's still blue. I've just done the drop off to gymnastics. Now I'm going back inside to do something that I don't know if a lot of autistic parents, sorry, not autistic parents, but parents of autistic kids do. Avoid the meltdowns, online shopping. So nearly 10 o'clock my time on a Saturday. I am waiting for Woolworths to come, drop off the food before I go and prime the little one to go and do something exciting for the weekend. And we're going to document that like last week down in Fremantle. Up in Fremantle, depending where I'm driving from. That's up to you guys to think. But anyway, I did have a bit of a rant the other day on the video. Decided to take it down because I don't think it's in accordance with what channel is really want to be with. One thing I was more upset about was the fact that how almighty Mark Butler worded autism. He worded it in such a way that using the word mild, moderate autism, and to something to the effect of it may be cured by the time they're adults. That really got up my goat because we all know that autism's not exactly curable. It could be slightly preventable or work better with obviously OTs, psychiatrists, psychologists, and all those type of professionals out there. But what I want to do is, while I'm waiting for my food to arrive, before I put it away, we go out for a bit of a wander around the area today, maybe down to the beach because it's a beautiful day again in Perth, winter time. People overseas, got to come and experience it for yourself. Really, really love it. And say hello, little one. Hey, buddy! I want to say hello from my 15-year-old Maltese poodle, blind and deaf, but he is still going strong. So anyway, what I'm going to do is now I'm going to head over to the laptop, do a bit of research, because obviously we know that NDIS is splitting or getting rid of their support for people with autism, and they're going to go through Thriving Kids, it's called. Obviously these kids will be adults one day. Will they get the support they need? Won't they get the support they need? This, in my opinion, has potential to be brilliant for kids with autism moving into their adult and formative years. However, if it's done incorrectly, it has a potential to go down the girdler and ruin all the support networks out there that we need for our kids. So I'm just going to have a bit of read, try and calm myself down. I'll jump back on in a few minutes. Well, for me it'll be a few minutes, but with the magic of editing, it'll be like a cutscene. And see what further information I can find on it. We all know that Mark Butler went back on his word a little bit to try and reassure the parents that this was a good thing, not a bad thing, and so on. Personally, I don't think he's got a effing idea of what's going on. I think he must have taken a job on to increase his portfolio and make him look like a magical saint in politicians' eyes, but really I think the government is trying to cut corners and cut spending where they can. If they want to cut spending, cut it with foreign aid. Right? Let's start spending the money here in Australia where we need it. Not just for kids with autism, for everybody who needs it, for our pensioners, for people who actually need these benefits should be entitled to it, and so on. So let's, yes, like I said, I'm going to do the cutscene, have a bit of a read up while I'm waiting for Woolies to come. Once Woolies is packed up, we'll embark on a little adventure for the day. So thanks for bearing with us for the first 10 minutes of this video, but I'm sure it is going to get better, it's going to get fun. Probably go for a walk to help get the legs ready for the Run for Autism in October. And like I said in my short, if you do want to donate and help kids with autism and raise money for Aspect Australia for kids on the spectrum, please feel free. I'll put the link in the description. If the link doesn't work in the description, head over to Instagram, type in Roll with the Spectrum, you'll find my bio. The link will be in that bio too, guys. So, and if you do actually know me personally, you know my Facebook beats. So yeah, but any further ado, I'm going to do some research, some reading, cutscene back to our adventure in, for me, 10, 15 to an hour maybe, I don't know, but for you guys it'll be like 1 minute or something. So okay, I'll see you soon. Here we go. So I'm on the computer now. So it's Thriving Kids fact sheet from the health, Australian government health website, health.gov.au resource publications, Thriving Kids fact sheet. So Thriving Kids fact sheet. Thriving Kids will focus on identifying development concerns earlier and establishing a national system for support for children aged 8 and under with mild to moderate developmental delay. Right, so maybe that's what, maybe those words mixed up a bit. So yeah, just your developmental delay. That's what got us a foot in the door with autism, with NDIS to start off with. It's also got developmental delay and autism in their families, right? So under 8, mild to moderate autism. So what about people over 8? Let's keep reading. Have a look. Okay, let's yep, Thriving Kids fact sheet. Let's just have a read. So this resource was publicated, what's the date today? 23rd, yesterday. So it was dropped on Thursday, Australian time, publicated yesterday for a fact sheet, yep, in English. So tags, especially carers. Okay, let's have a look. Let's go to the PDF. For those of you who don't know what it looks like, let's grab this off here. And that, so there's my lovely laptop. Excuse the mess in the background. So let's look less PDF. Here we go, PDF. I am sorry if it's back to front. It's one of those cameras. So, righto, if you want, I can I'll screen capture that, and I'll actually put it in the into the video over my head around here somewhere. I'll also add this, try and capture that link and pop the link in the description so parents who are unsure about it can actually follow the link as well. How's that for you? So like I said, the idea of my video today was to go out and about. I think this might take a bit more importance, but I will have a read of what it says. I'll just read it verbatim for you, so I'll blow it up so wear glasses so I can see it. It's only 2 pages long, so it can't be, mustn't put that much thought into it from a person speaking. So if I'm not looking at the camera, I'm just reading this, guys. So the Australian government is restoring the National Disability Insurance Scheme, NDIS, to its original purpose, supporting people with permanent and significant disability. Right, there is a feed of crap, I would say, because we all know that autism lasts all life and you can be impaired with it from birth to death. Right now it sounds a little bit morbid saying death and stuff, but you know what I mean. Okay, there's nothing, try not to be sinister here, it is. Yeah, supporting people with certificate and ensuring that the scheme remains sustainable. So reforms announced by Minister Butler on the 20th of August 2025 will secure the future for the scheme and put people with disabilities and their families back at the centre of the NDIS. Okay. Establishing the effect of the national system of support of parents and children outside the NDIS is an important part of the reform. The Australian government has announced its commitment to contribute $2 billion towards Thriving Kids commencing on the 1st of July next year. So $2 billion isn't much when we give over $5.5 to $6 billion to support efforts in Ukraine and Gaza. Surely some of that money can be halved and put into this, the new childcare policies that are coming into date and so on. So I think the government's a bit screwed up somewhere. Sorry, but I think your reforms are a bit, I think there's going to be a lot of holes in it and a lot of questions to answer for, to be honest. However, the overview, let's read this. Actually, the final program design will be settled between the Australian Government and state and territory governments, informed by experts in the significant community input received through independent reviews of NDIS. Put in the comments if you've had lots of dramas with NDIS. I know myself and my ex-partner with our daughter, we've had a fair few things with NDIS. Sorry guys. Righto, so the overview. Thriving Kids will focus on identifying development concerns earlier and establish a national system of support for children aged 8 and under with mild to moderate developmental delay and autism. Because my child's got mild autism, yeah. Say that to the minister when she was running around with a knife trying to kill us. Yeah, so children with permanent and significant disabilities will continue to be supported by NDIS. Okay, I guess that's fair, but children under 8 with mild to moderate, how do you deem it's mild to moderate? You could have a level 3 autistic kid who doesn't talk, be the most placid person under the sun, the smartest person, and he or she falls under permanent impairment, where a mildy to moderate autistic kid who has lots of meltdowns, self-harms, and I know I'm stuttering a bit, but I'm just dumbfounded by the wording that they have come up with for this. Let me know if I'm out of line. Let me know what your thoughts are too. If anyone would like to comment in the comment section. So the program will be delivered by scaling and building on existing mainstream and community services that can better support families and children in settings they already are that they're already connected to. This includes children and mental health, GP, playgroups, early childhood education and care, and schools, as well digital and phone-based support. Okay, so they're going to offer mental health support to the parents as well who need it just as much as the kids. Notice that I haven't put paediatrician appointments. So put GPs, but we all know we need a GP referral to go back to our paediatrician to get the correct support we need. Also need that GP referral for the underlying support like your OT, psychologist, psychiatrist for your kids, yeah? In my road with this, that's what I've seen. There have already been many examples of evidence-based services that guide parents and help their kids thrive. The government will look to leverage those existing systems with $2 billion. I don't think that's enough, to be honest. Such as infant maternal health system that state runs, the primary care system that the Commonwealth funds through Medicare. Not going to get much back from Medicare with this stuff, if any, and support in the community health centres. So yeah, the community health centres, I know when we lived in Darwin, were pretty good at coming around your house, having centres open that you could go to get your kids looked after. When we moved to Perth with the youngest one, it was terrible. Just gonna put it out there. As we know, if you've seen the news, the West Australian medical fraternity community at the moment is in a bit of turmoil with just appalling wait times, facilities. It needs an overhaul, and I think the federal government also need to cut some funding somewhere to help states and territories to help their medical system before we turn into a third world country, which is already happening in Perth. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. Politely, don't come at me with this. This is just, like I said, my opinion, and I'm trying to just read the facts that the government's trying to relay to you guys. So hopefully this helps. So there are already many examples of evidence-based services that guide parents and help kids thrive. The government will also work to leverage those existing programs, such as infant and medical health system that the state run, the primary care system that Commonwealth funds through Medicare support, Health centres, this support will help children thrive right through the life course. From the time they are born to the time they are in formal schooling. This would include support. This will include supporting the parents or carers with routines and advice on things they can do at home and what their children may need in other everyday environments, whether they learn and play, or where they learn and play. Okay, shaping these supports, the government will work with state and territory governments and experts to finalise the design and implementation arrangements for thriving kids. Design is being informed by the findings from the independent review into NDIS, I'm having a terrible time with these big words. Consultation on fundamental support held at the end of 2024 and the continuing community consult across multiple jurisdictions. Minister Butler will establish Thriving Kids Advocacy Group, co-chaired by Professor Frank Oberclag. Never heard of him. If you have, let me know. I'm going to do a bit of Googling after this to find out who Professor Frank is. This will provide expert advice on the Minister around the program, design and implementation arrangements over the coming months. It will help to ensure design looks at how best supports the children development in national system perspective. It will consider findings from NDIS review, as will the broader evidence base. Where are they getting this broader evidence base from? Are they contacting parents who live this stuff every day? Are they not? I don't know. But let's read the timeline here. Sorry if my camera looks a bit blurry, so I hope it doesn't come across too blurry to you guys at home. Not like you're working. Here we go. So I'm on the second page now, so there's not much on this at all really. It's like they just threw it together and mashed some words up and hope for the best in the next 2 years or 18 months, however long it's going to take to get this reform going. So the government will continue to prioritise work with state and territory governments to finalise the designs of Thriving Kids program this year. It's expected that Thriving Kids program roll out in phases. The first services are expected to be available from the 1st of July next year, and this will continue to ramp up over the 12 months. This will ensure national services in place ahead of a broader change to NDIS access arrangements from mid-27. Okay, relationship to NDIS reform. Maybe there's only one more paragraph left, So the Australian government is focused on ensuring that children with developmental delays or disabilities who can better support outside of NDIS have access to services and support that they need to help them thrive. This will help to ensure that NDIS remains sustainable and can support people with permanent and significant disabilities for generations to come. So let's put this in a bit of a nicer term. So people with your cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, muscular dystrophy, MS, those type of people I imagine will stick with NDIS because I don't want to say it badly, but if people can see what they have, it's more easier to handle, like a broken arm versus mental health. It's easier to mend the broken arm because you can see it, as opposed to helping someone with mental health. So our kids are sort of put in this mental health category where you can't see it, although it is still a permanent impairment for the rest of their life. But hopefully this reform will shape the mentality of the public and people to better understand autism. That's my hope for this plan, and I hope the right people will sit on the board and express that to the minister, to the professor, to anyone who is the experts in this field. So the children who are already on the scheme will continue to receive support, subject to unusual arrangements, including reassessment. We're up for reassessment next year too, so maybe my daughter might be put onto one of the first 2 thriving kids as opposed to NDIS. The reforms to NDIS access and establishment of additional support outside NDIS will be carefully designed with early childhood experts and families. Well, there you go. So hopefully they get a number of families to help and understand and support this. Reforms carefully consider the impacts on existing participants, including timings, transition arrangement for children. We will continue to put people with disabilities at the heart of NDIS reforms and ensure that the children with significant and permanent care and support needs who require NDIS will continue the support. So what does that mean for our kids? Well, we don't really have a full understanding of it because I don't think the minister himself has a grasp on what's going on here, to be totally honest. Let's just hope the people who sit on the board and liaise with the minister, liaise with Professor Frank Overclade, his name is. Let's hope they talk to the right people, get the right support needed. Even the people who are already on NDI support for their autistic families, give us a questionnaire to fill out and collect that information as a whole from families with kids with ASD level 1, level 2, level 3, verbal, non-verbal families. It just seems they want to piss them off to the side, to be honest, and forget about them. So hopefully that's not the case. I am crossing my fingers and hoping this is going to be a good change for kids with autism and give them a better avenue of support. My biggest question is though, it's for the kids, what's out there for the adult life. I know there's a number of support agencies out there, non-profitable ones, who do a bang-up job already to help adults in the workforce. My neighbour across the road, their son is in his 30s now and he's smashing it with a brilliant job at Bunnings. Always walk past, say good day to him, and he's always the happiest guy on the street. So hopefully there's a lot of positives that are going to come out of it. At the moment, I can't see it. I'm a bit pessimistic about what I've just read here. Like I said, I'll try and put the link in the description for you guys to make your own decision. Obviously, we can listen to the news as much as we can, but what they're going to tell us is going to be different to what's going to happen. As we all know, the news tells us what we want to hear, not what we need to hear. So yeah, hopefully this, like I said, reform will be a good thing, but to me at the moment it's like we're just shutting away these people with this. It's like they're just putting the problem to the side and not worrying about it to me. It's got potential to actually cripple our support networks for autism and whatnot. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the government do the right thing here and give us what we need for our children to thrive. Hence the name, Thriving Kids. So I'll screen capture this. I'll add it to the end of the video now and also try and put the link in the description for you guys to click onto the government website and make a decision for yourselves. Once you see the video, if you do like, subscribe, please make comments if you agree or disagree with me, or just your general opinion on what's going to happen. So once again guys, thanks very much for your time today. I know this video was going to be an adventure video with me and the younger one. Don't think it'll happen now because I've just been talking for the last 18 minutes talking about this. So apologies, we're not going out in the sunshine today, but it is sunshiny in Perth. For you guys overseas listening to this, rewind back to the start of the video and look at the skies behind me. Mwah. Alright guys, so thanks for listening, thank you for your time, and remember what I always say, if you like the channel, like, subscribe, tell your friends, families, co-workers, unco-workers, and last of all, remember, peace, love and autism. Have a good day, bye.